Welcome back, everybody, to our next edition of the Life of Jesus. We are continuing to talk over the life of Jesus when he was on earth. We've talked about his birth and his early childhood, and we just finished talking about his baptism. And we are this close to getting into the start of Jesus' ministry. So today we are going to be in Matthew chapter 4, and we are going to be talking about Jesus' temptation. This is honestly one of my favorite passages in the whole Bible. I love reading about the temptation of Jesus because it's so real. It's so it shows the human nature of who Jesus was, who Jesus is, and when he was on earth, and just it's so cool. And the way that he conquers literally being tempted by Satan himself. So without further ado, we're going to dive in. So we're in Matthew chapter 4. You can see everything is going to be on the screen over this way. So if you want to read along, it is there on the screen. But you can also read along in your own Bibles. That is perfectly A-OK. For those who are also watching live, these Bible studies are now streamed live on Twitch every morning at 10:30 MST or 11:30 CST or 12:30 Eastern. So if you want to be a part of that live on Twitch or on YouTube, that is when they are, Wednesday mornings / early afternoon, depending on the time zone that you are in. But they're also uploaded onto YouTube for later on. So without further ado, Matthew chapter 4. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit to the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. And after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. And the tempter came and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "It is written, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." Then the devil took him to the holy city and set him on the pinnacle of the temple and said to him, "If you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone." Jesus said to him, "Again it is written, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test." Again, the devil took him to a very high mountain and showed him all the kingdoms of the world and their glory. And he said to him, "All these I will give you if you will fall down and worship me." Then Jesus said to him, "Begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." Then the devil left him, and behold, angels came and were ministering to him. So, here we see Jesus is being tempted by Satan. He was led into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. This is something that was very important for the start of his ministry. So, one of the things that I glanced at my phone and got distracted. My bad. Okay, so Jesus got tempted. The first temptation, Jesus isn't. I don't know why, but I find verse 2. Actually, I know exactly why I find verse 2 really funny. And after fasting 40 days and 40 nights, he was hungry. No duh. I mean, Jesus has not eaten anything for 40 days and 40 nights. Of course he's gonna be hungry. I don't know what you would be expecting. I don't get why you wouldn't be expecting, I don't get why you would be expecting Jesus to not be hungry, but he was. He was hungry, and that was that. Which again, it's just a funny moment. People say that the Bible isn't funny. That's one of those verses where the Bible is actually really funny. But the tempter came to Jesus and said, "If you are the Son of God, command these stones to become loaves of bread." But he answered, "Man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God." So here, what Satan is trying to do is he is trying to tell Jesus to use his power as God, his divine power, to take care of himself. Now, obviously, Jesus is hungry. He needs to eat. That's not an abnormal thing. But the thing that Satan was trying to get him to do was trying to be selfish with his ability. Because he was the Son of God and because he was God, he very easily could have said, okay, yeah, I'll command these stones to become loaves of bread. But he didn't. Because Jesus knew that he was in the wilderness for a reason. He needed to go through this. And so he wasn't going to just he wasn't going to just command the stones to be bread and take care of himself, because that would be using his ability for his own personal gain. So Jesus immediately faces his temptation and he conquers it. He conquers the temptation because he's Jesus, obviously, and he knows that what he is going to be doing is selfish. Even though Jesus, as God, had every right to take care of himself, he very easily can take care of himself. But also, Jesus he knew that he didn't need to eat the bread other than just to satisfy what was going on. So he didn't. He didn't use his ability to command bread to do nothing but further himself. So that is what is known. There's actually like 3 kind of major temptations that come in Scripture. They're called the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. This is Jesus conquering the lust of the flesh. His flesh, his body, desires food. It's hungry. And Satan says, here is an easy out to get food. But that, not only would that have been selfish for Jesus, it would have been him completely disregarding the point of fasting. Because the point of fasting, when you fast as a Christian, you are fasting with the thought of, I am foregoing my need for food and focusing on my reliance of God. You are not living, it's why Jesus says, man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word that comes from the mouth of God. Because the point of fasting is to be hungry so you become closer to God. You get rid of the physical distraction of food and your focus becomes, I'm so hungry, I'm going to rely on God to get me through this. And so, yeah, it's very easy. Jesus wanted to prove himself. Or not prove himself. Jesus wanted to eat. He wanted to eat. He was hungry. But he was fasting. And he committed to that. Then we go into verse 5. The devil took him to the holy city, set him on the pinnacle of the temple, and said to him, if you are the Son of God, throw yourself down, for it is written, he will command his angels concerning you, and on their hands they will bear you up, lest you strike your foot against a stone. So this is Jesus being tempted with the lust of the eyes. Because Jesus could very easily be like, yeah, I know they will. Boom, I'm going to jump off. Well, he wasn't necessarily doing anything wrong. The only thing he was going to be doing was demonstrating his authority for no reason other than just to show off. And don't get me wrong, he's God. Okay, the whole world is him showing off. Like, that's what God can do because he's God. And Jesus is God. So he didn't need to show off at all. And he knew that. So he didn't. He looked at him and he said, you shall not put the Lord your God to the test. He's not going to do something that is going to purely inflate ego. Because God is a jealous God. He doesn't want people worshiping other gods. But that doesn't mean that he's not going to yeah, my brain completely fried out. So sorry. It doesn't mean he is going to just do things just to show off. Everything that God does is for a reason. Cat Turd in chat said, if I could ask God one question, what would I ask him? The biggest question that I would ask God is, why do so many people have to die for God's plan? Why do so many people have to die for God's plan to be realized? It is something that, no matter what, that has always been my biggest struggle as a Christian. I'm going to get very real. It's going to be very kind of different from what we're talking about right now with the temptations of Jesus. But, I mean, I want to answer the questions. It's so easy to be so focused on God doing all the incredible things, like turning water into wine, the feeding of the 5,000, but it's something that, like, but it's also the same God who orders the Israelites to slaughter every single person in the city of Jericho. Like, not even the kids could live. Why do I think they had to die? The only thing that I can think of as for why they had to die, specifically with the stories of the Israelites, is that they had to die to help protect the Israelites. So the Israelites, when they were traveling out of the wilderness, they were traveling to the promised land. They were commanded to slaughter a lot of people. And I think they had to, like, the reason why they had to die is because anytime that somebody outside of the Israelite camp came in, it caused so many issues because they were bringing false gods and things that the Israelites should not have been diving into. But even now, I still wonder if maybe there wasn't a chance that some of them could know Christ, could know God in the same way that we have the ability to know God. But I don't know. I'm not God, and I plan on asking him when I get there. So, Jesus tells Satan off, and then Satan takes Jesus up to a very high mountain, showed him all the kingdoms of the world, shows him everything. This is where the pride of life comes in. Because Jesus is now tempted to bow down and worship Satan, and he will be given everything. He is told to do something he knows is wrong to get something good. To which then Jesus said, "Begone to him, begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." So Jesus has come through and conquered the lust of the flesh. He doesn't use his abilities for his own personal gain to distract himself from fasting. Jesus says to Satan, "You shall not put the Lord your God to the test," because he knows that he doesn't need to throw himself off the temple. That's not something that is going to be beneficial for him, other than just showing how cool he is. And it doesn't do anything. It just inflates him. And then Satan says, "You can be the ruler of all the world if you just bow down and worship me." And Jesus said to him, "Begone, Satan, for it is written, you shall worship the Lord your God, and him only shall you serve." And at this point then, the devil left him, and behold, angels came and were ministering to him. So after all of this, the angels come in and start encouraging Jesus and being there for him and helping him. And because I'm sure after all of this, Jesus was tired. He's been fasting for 40 days. He's dealt with the temptations of Satan. 3 separate moments. He's got to be tired. Really tired. But he gets through it. He succeeds in overcoming the temptations of the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. And the thing that I want to kind of focus on here, I'm already kind of looking at wrapping this one up, because that's pretty much all. We've gone over everything I want to here. We talked about the temptations of Jesus. Guys, even Jesus himself was tempted. This is another kind of like big step in the ordination process for Jesus before he actually starts his ministry. He goes out and he gets tempted by Satan, and he goes and beats all of these temptations by the devil. And because he does this now, it's time for his ministry to begin. And this is something that I want to encourage people who are looking at getting into ministry. Myself included. I've been a ministry kid my whole life. I'm still in ministry right now. Even though I'm not working full-time in ministry, this is still my ministry doing these, as well as I am a youth leader in my local church. And that's part of my ministry. Ministry is not easy. Jesus fasted for 40 days and 40 nights. He was tempted by the devil himself. He was tired. It was hard. And even though Jesus conquered everything, it was a lot. The angels had to come and minister to Jesus. They encouraged him. And so, friends, the biggest thing that I want to get out of this is you can see the three main areas where we can be tempted: the lust of the flesh, lust of the eyes, and the pride of life. Even Jesus conquered them. I mean, granted, obviously he's Jesus, so it was easy for him. But temptation comes all the time. It is so easy to fall into temptation every single day. But guys, we are always provided a way out. It is why we're going through the life of Jesus. It is why we are talking about what he did when he was on earth. Because Jesus is the key to it all. Jesus is the one who conquered all sin, all death, all temptation. So that way we can live a good life with him. And we can be saved. Temptation is everywhere. It will find you in the biggest form. But so is Jesus. Jesus cares. He loves you. He died for you. That is what is important. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this short little snippet on the temptations of Jesus. And we will finally be getting into the beginning of Jesus' ministry next week. So I hope you guys enjoy. I hope you guys come back. If you're watching this, you came in right at the end, or maybe you had to leave early on stream. All of these do get uploaded onto my YouTube channel the next morning. They will be posted in my Discord when they are up. But also, I will be posting them if on my personal Facebook, because some people do watch them. But anyways, you guys are loved. You are valued. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day.